You're watching Pyro Media Network. Hello, Pyro Media family. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We hope your experience with us is fruitful. While we are loading your experience, please do us a quick favor and hit that like button from whichever platform you're watching or listening on. And we do hope you consider hitting that subscribe or follow button so you can check out more of our amazing content. All right, let's start the show.
Well, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to She is Shenomenal. I am your host, Tasha Champion, the Shenomenal coach of Champion Empowerment. Always teaching you to love the champion you are. And you guys, can y'all believe like we're already in May? It's over my head right now. I'm like, wait, so we had Tasha Wary. We enjoyed the first part of the year, but how are we already in May? Like spring is here. And I hope you guys, like I mentioned before, I hope you guys are planting the seeds that you really do need to bloom into your life, because time is waiting for no one. I mean, I know the older we get, time moves a whole lot faster. It feels like it moves a whole lot faster. And like I tell my kids, pretty much once you start paying bills, you really, truly realize how fast 30 days goes right on by. And here we are. It's already May. Right. So if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, welcome. Thank you for joining. I want to just kind of be really quick with this because I've got a really great show for you guys today. I am interviewing just an incredible woman. And really for this entire month, we're going to be talking to resilient moms. There are so many amazing, wonderful, encouraging, motivational, inspirational women that are out there that are also moms, whether they are moms just to the people that they love. Like mom does not mean that you actually have to birth a child. You could be a mom in many different ways, but I can tell you here on She is Shenomenal, we're going to be interviewing those resilient and amazing moms all month long as we celebrate Mother's Day, not just on, I think it's May 12th this year, but we're going to celebrate them all month long. So I'm really excited. Join us each week. And if you want to shout out your mom, be sure to email me, the shenomenalcoach@gmail.com. And I will make sure to shout out your mom, starting with my mommy, Priscilla Roberts. Hi, Mom. Happy early Mother's Day. I'll be shouting you out like every week. My mom is the best, y'all. I love that lady. Anyway, Today, I'm going to be chatting with Nicole D. Vick. Oh, wait a minute. Let me rephrase. Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Nicole has gone from teenage mom to PhD and everything in between, community activist, author. She is a women's spokeswoman. Like, she encourages women in self-care. She does her own nails. Like, this woman is like literally a Nicole of all trades, right? Not a Jack or Jill of all trades. She's a Nicole of all trades. And we're going to have a fun conversation to talk about how she went from being a teenage mother. What was that like? How did she land there? Everybody's story is different. And then we'll talk with her through her journey of getting now her PhD ready to walk the stage. And you guys, let me just tell y'all, from a prestigious school, okay? And trust me, please don't at me. It's not that any other school matters, but you guys know, for a young Black woman, teenage mom, to continue to go and keep moving and land at USC, that is not by accident. There's so much purpose in that. So imagine how many women she's going to inspire and encourage with her story. So we're going to take a quick commercial break because I'm ready to dive right in. So sit tight, or while we're on commercial break, go grab somebody. Text somebody the link, tell them to join and watch, because it's going to be a great conversation. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for enlightening conversations that transcend boundaries? Get ready for Conversations with Clergy, brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network. In partnership with the world's largest publicly funded international collaboration, the HVTN is dedicated to evaluating vaccines to prevent HIV and COVID-19. But their impact doesn't stop there. The HVTN is at the forefront of advancing vaccinology, social and behavioral sciences, statistics, immunology, and even contributing to the research on tuberculosis and COVID-19 vaccines. By supporting Conversations with Clergy, the HVTN not only brings you thought-provoking discussions, but also contributes to the global effort to combat infectious diseases. Tune in, stay informed, and be a part of the change. Conversations with Clergy, supported by the HVTN, empowering conversations, empowering lives. Join us in this journey of knowledge, understanding, and progress. Conversations with Clergy, proudly brought to you by the HIV Vaccine Trials Network, because together we can make a difference.
All right, welcome back. Again, this month we are talking to resilient moms as we celebrate amazing Shenomenal moms all month long right here on She Is Shenomenal. So let's go ahead and welcome today's guest, from teen mom to PhD, Dr. Nicole D. Vick.
I love this. Hello.
Hey, doctor, listen, I will not just say Nicole, honey. All that you have worked through, I am going to put some respect, not some respect on that name. So hello, Dr. Nicole D. Vick. How are you? I'm so happy to have you on.
I am well. I'm so glad to be here. I know we've been talking about getting together for a long time, so I'm just really glad that we're finally in this space together. Yay!
Yes, yes, yes. And I want to, just officially welcome you in, because I felt like when in talking about resilient moms as just a little bit that I've known of you, I'm like, that's the resilient one. And it was so purposeful how you were the first person that responded to a post that I did. And I was like, oh, I don't even have to reach out to her now. Like she's already here. So perfect. But Dr. Nicole, tell us a little bit about who you are before we dive into your story. Who is Nicole D. Vick?
I mean, you pretty much summed it up in the intro. All I heard though, when you say young, I was like, oh, for real, young. Okay, I'll take young. Even though the gray is getting grayer, I'm like, come on now, why you? Anyway, so I am a lifelong South Los Angeles resident. So I'll start there. My family has been in South Los Angeles for almost 100 years. They came here from Oklahoma by way of Tennessee. So I'll start there. A mom, obviously. My daughter is, oh my gosh, 27 years old, which is crazy to me because I'm like, how is she 27 if I'm only 35? I'm not, how did
That
that
part.
happen? Because
Right.
she's getting older. I'm not, I don't know. I'm a public health professional, so that is my background. 20 plus years of public health work. I've taught public health in some of the local universities around. And as you mentioned, I am working on my doctorate. I will be done very soon. Graduation is very soon, so really excited about that. Yes, you talked about the nails. The nails is, is
Yes.
here. I've done things like pop-up shops. I'm really, invested in my community. So when I think of ways to do things, I try to make stuff happen. So I used to open up my backyard and do pop-up shops for Black women business owners. I'm an author. I've written two books, and I've contributed chapters to 2 anthologies, so 4 publications total. So I just be doing all kind of stuff. I don't even know.
Like, listen, there's no limits. Like I tell people, resilient women are limitless. The sky is not your limit, the ceiling is not your limit. Like you are just pure limitless. And I love it. And let me just tell you, let me just say, because I'm not artistic, and I'm definitely not ambidextrous. I cannot understand how you can do all 10 of your nails. I'm like, I watch the videos and I'm like, how does she do this? It is amazing.
It has become my source of self-care. To your point, my brain is all over the place all the time. I'm here, there, everywhere. And so when I do
Mhm.
my nails, it is the only time where I am focused, I'm still, and in my creative space. And so it's just really become a way to center and ground myself. And I guess the more you do a thing, you get good at it. So I honestly contemplating going to get licensed just because.
I think you should, because not only can you do them well, but you're very artistic with it. Like, I mean, you have the jewels, the different colors, the paint mixes. I'm like, there's just no end to what she can do. You are the, what do they call them now? Nail artists, not
Yeah.
just, manicures. They're like, oh no, I'm a nail artist, meaning I can really, really get in the grooves of your nails and make them bomb. And that's what I see you do.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Nicole, let's go ahead and go all the way back to your teenage years. If you don't mind, saying how old you were when you had your daughter, when you found out you were pregnant, I should say, and kind of what led up to that, as much as you want to share, because sometimes teenage pregnancies happen as an accident. Sometimes young ladies are searching for something and they end up with a child. So tell your story, as much as you are willing to share.
Sure, and I'm definitely an open book. I've talked about it in my first book. I think I was 17. I feel like I was 17 years old.
Mhm.
High school sweetheart type situation. because he was real cute. And so I always say, listen, if you were a young mom, and if the guy is cray cray now, it's okay, because at the time he was cute, and that's where your brain is. He was cute and he was popular,
Right.
and all the girls liked him, and for some reason he liked me. I'm like, yay. But I will say that for me, I was searching for something. I don't know. And let me also back up. My parents are still married. They live in the same house. They are together. But I don't know if my upbringing gave me a sense of myself that would have protected me from the type of men that, from starting from my daughter's father throughout. I mean, even now I'm like, child, let me just be by myself, because obviously this ain't, I don't know. Anyway, so I was seeking that attention, that validation. I was a big girl, still am. But imagine being the big girl and being in middle school and high school, and everybody else is getting all the attention. So I was looking for that, and he provided that. So then easy for me to kind of go down a road that I probably shouldn't have gone down with him, because again, I was looking for that attention from a man, and he wasn't even a man; he was a kid like I was. So that's where it all started. Really, we were together for a while, and the things happened. The activities occurred. One time, I almost got it, child. We was in a minivan at the beach, and the next thing we know, the police is knocking on the window. I said, "Ooh, we could have been in trouble." Yeah,
A lot of trouble. Yes.
But I will also layer my lived experience over a little bit of public health, because I'll say this. I remember at one point, being like, hey, we need to get condoms, and going into a store and the condoms are locked up. And because, we're young, not feeling confident enough to ask for them to be unlocked, not being aware of the fact that there are in some parts of the county places you can call and get free condoms. We don't know none of that stuff. So I got to weave that in, because that's the reality for a lot of our young people in these neighborhoods. Like, this is not, abnormal for them to be sexually curious. They want to try things and do things, but they need to be educated and have the tools to be able to do it safely. And that wasn't a reality for me. So, kids do what kids do. Teenagers do what they do. And I got pregnant right before I started college. So I was a teen mom, but I guess I was technically on the older side of teen momhood, because I was about to start my freshman year at USC. And that was wild, how that all went. And I don't know if you want me to tell how I found out I was pregnant.
Yes, I was just getting ready to ask you, like, how did you find out, and how did you announce it, and what was how was it received? That's the question. Yes.
Okay. So what happened was, I was working at this little cafe on campus. So I had already started school by then. So I didn't know I was pregnant when I started college, but I was. You understand? Of course, I was pregnant. So I'm on campus. I'm working at this little cafe, and at some point, I think I started to feel sick. Like, the kids would come, the students would come with their pasta dishes, and I'm ringing up their food, and something about that spaghetti. I'm like, I guess she didn't like tomato sauce, and I'm like, dang, what is going on? And just really feeling like I can't even keep. So finally, I went to the student health center. And the physician was like, yeah, well, it sounds like something. So let's see. So she did an exam. So she laid me down and was in there with her fingers. And she was like, I think there's something there. Let's do a blood test and make sure. And then she was like, yes, you're pregnant. And I was like, whoa. I remember I walked out. There was a payphone. So this was 1996. I guess I didn't have a cell phone. I don't know. When did cell phones become big? It must not have been around that time.
Not even.
So
unless you had the brick phone.
Right. So I called him. I called her dad, and hey dad, that's what I said to him. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm pregnant. And he, was kind of like, oh my gosh. So he was a little freaked out. Now let's talk about when I had to tell my mama. Okay. Cause that story. That's something.
That's always different.
Yes. My mom, I don't know how to describe her, but she's interesting. I think at that point hadn't had a very good relationship, especially because I had the boyfriend and she didn't like the boyfriend. So we bumped heads a lot. I was still living at home. So I said to myself, I'm gonna have to tell her in public because I don't know what she finna do to me.
You need safety.
Yes. So we used to still go grocery shopping together. We went to the Ralphs in Ladera Heights because I think at that time that was really the only Ralphs that was like nice in this neighborhood. So we in the Ralphs and she's in the produce section. We're in the produce section together. I break from her, so she's over there looking at the lettuce. I don't know, whatever. I go over to the prenatal vitamins, grab a bottle, and I put it in the cart.
Pause. Is this your way of telling your mother that you are pregnant? You just gonna slide, not multivitamins. You are going to just literally just casually place some prenatals into the grocery cart.
7 in the cart. And she said, "What's this?" She said, "What's this? What you need these for?" I'm pregnant.
OMG.
So I'm thinking, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm like, is it gonna be a security? Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Surprisingly, she said, "Don't cry, it's okay." Who is this lady? This ain't my mama. Because that's
so is this the public version of you, and then I got to get the mama version when we get home?
I feel like she was actually excited about. Now, was she excited about me being a teen and being pregnant? Probably not, because she didn't really like baby daddy, and of course, hindsight being 2020, she was justified in not liking baby daddy. But I feel like the idea of a baby, the idea of grandma, I think maybe was appeal. She was like, it's okay. Now the person that freaked out was my baby brother. My brother is 5 years younger than me. So we came back home from the grocery store. Even my dad, my dad is pretty low key. He's a Taurus. He's kind of low key. He was like, I guess maybe upset, but he didn't really have this reaction. My brother is Capricorn. He literally got up, walked out the house, and kept walking. I was like, where is he going? I think I disappointed him. I think that for him, he just saw that I had let him down in some way. I feel like he maybe looked up to me and was like, but he got over it. But that he was the one I think that had the most dramatic response. So that was crazy.
So now you find out you're pregnant. You are a freshman in college. Was there ever this idea of, I'm going to have to leave school, I have to parent full time? What does my support system look like?
So I will say I was 100% blessed, lucky, however you want to call it. So when I started going to prenatal care, and they were like, well, when was your last period? Blah, blah, blah. And they started calculating. They said, your baby is due May 26th. USC semester ends early. Even now, I'm in at USC. We're done well before the end of May, like early May, we're done. So I said, okay, well, that's cool. I'm gonna finish the semester, have her, and then by the time fall semester starts, she's old enough where I can leave her with my mom. My mom didn't work. So, you know how it goes. You make your plans, but other people laugh at your plans. You thought that's what was gonna happen, but that's not what's gonna happen. So she actually was born 8 weeks early. She was born March 26th. And on a Wednesday, I woke up and I was like, why do I have cramps? And I was like, but I'm pregnant. Like, what's going on? And so I told my mom, because I still lived at home, and she was like, okay, well, let's go. By the time the doctor got there, he said, oh, you're fully dilated. You're having this baby today. I was like, but how am I fully dilated? And I'm 8 weeks, she ain't supposed to be here until May. And he was like, listen, she coming out today. So what you want to do? I'm like, what I'm gonna do? I hadn't had Lamar's class. I hadn't had any of that stuff. Thankfully,
because you still had time. 8 weeks is still a long time, right?
And thankfully, for some reason, I had my baby shower early. For some reason, maybe that was just I don't know, but none of that other stuff. So when he said push, what you I don't know what. He's like, I need you to push like this. He had to like tell me how to push to get her
Wow.
out. And so that was interesting for me. But as far as quitting school, it had not come up because again, I thought I was going to have her over the summer. And then when I had her on that Wednesday, when the whole wait a minute, you early, sis, what you doing? What you doing, Andre? I had her on a Wednesday, and I always tell the story. I had her on a Wednesday. They let me out of the hospital on Friday. That year, Easter was on Sunday, so I went to church on Easter Sunday, and I went back to school on Monday. People were
Oh my
like, what are you doing? I said, they let me out the hospital. I mean,
that did not mean return to your regular scheduled program. That meant to go home, rest, and recover. She like, oh no, I got to go to school. So you started your resiliency just way, way early.
And honestly, to your point, I feel like that resiliency came from, and people say, don't call yourself dumb. I said, but young and dumb is not always a bad thing, because
Right.
when we get older, we talk ourselves out of a lot of things. And if I had sat there and thought about it, I would have talked myself out of it. I would have took a leave of absence from school. I would have done this. I would have done that. And who knows where I would be today? Most of the time, when you take a leave of absence, you don't come back. So
Right.
if I had said, well, hell, let me think about that. I don't know. Nope. They let me out the hospital. I'm fine. I'm going to school. My mama's here. The baby in the hospital. Andrea stayed in the hospital like 3 weeks. She at the hospital. The nurses got her. She good. I'll go see her every day. So again, everything that could potentially seem to be bad is not always bad. She at the hospital. Thank God she's alive. But she's at the hospital. The nurses got her. She fed. She good. I'm about to go to school. My mama got her when she comes out. We good.
Right. Now, what was it like being a full-time student and a full-time mom?
It was interesting. I feel like honestly, I had to grow up. I grew up really fast. Because it wasn't time for play. No, you got to feed her. You're responsible for her. And
Right.
I will say those early days were hard because her dad and I, right before I had her, he broke up with me. Oh, I think we should be friends. Baby, we are past friends.
We're past friends, right?
I'm having a child. Okay. And it's funny because I was so devastated, so upset, so sad. But baby, hindsight 2020. Ooh, hallelujah. I'm so glad, sir.
Right. Thank you for breaking up with me.
But at the time, you don't know, right? You're like, no. Right. So it was hard because we had our issues with like custody and who has physical custody with child support, this and that, and just a lot of that emotion that came from, we're not together. Why, when I send her away with her hair in 2 ponytails, she come back with it in 5? Why, all these things, these emotions that, again, looking back, none of that stuff is important. None of it matters. But at the time, it mattered. Why who touching my baby's hair? Little crazy things. Having to go to the little family lawyer to get help with the paperwork, to set up the court dates. All those things were a huge, it took a lot of time while I'm still trying to go to school. I'm missing class to go do the thing. So it wasn't, school was hard in the sense that it was already hard because I'm Black. I'm a Black girl at this PWI, predominantly white institution. You know, it's in the middle of South Central.
Right.
It's not designed for me. So I'm already struggling. And then the baby, and then the relationship stuff. It just was a lot of layers that I had to navigate through, and it made it really difficult.
Wow. So we have to take a quick commercial break, but you brought up a really good point, and you're talking about like you were at a school that really was not designed for you to be a student. So when we come back from commercial break, I want to talk about what was that like? Like you're already processing, I'm a mom, I'm fighting with the dad over custody. I'm fighting to belong in a place that's fighting against me being here. So what were some of those steps that you had to take to continue to push through, which I know is the name of one of your books, but just that, what was that journey like where you're like, I just got to keep pushing through? And how did you maintain mental health during that? Because these are things that really can break you, and somehow you found more resiliency in it. So think about that. I know that was, a loaded question, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Dr. Nicole D. Vick.
Because self-care should be luxurious. Luxe Noir.
Elevate your entertainment with Watch Vim. Discover the ultimate online streaming destination. Get an auto-renewing monthly subscription for unlimited content on all devices. Join us in supporting a Black-owned streaming platform that brings top-tier entertainment. Let the streaming excitement begin at Watch Vim, your seamless experience for endless entertainment. Stream online or download the Watch Vim app now.
Hey pilots, did you know that you can now catch the electrifying sounds of Bulletin Flight Radio anywhere you go? Yes, you heard it right. Tune in to the high-flying beats and soaring melodies by downloading the TuneIn app on your mobile device. Just search for Bulletin Flight Radio and hit play. It's that easy. And if you have a smart device like Alexa or Google, just say, "Hey Google," or "Alexa, play Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn." Experience the rush of adrenaline wherever you are. Listen to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn using your Alexa or Google devices. Soaring through the skies has never sounded this good. Don't miss out on the ultimate musical journey. Tune in now to Bulletin Flight Radio on TuneIn and let the music take you on an unforgettable ride. Get ready to elevate your listening experience. Brought to you by Bulletin Flight Radio.
All right, we are back with resilient mom, Nicole. I'm sorry, hold on. We are back with resilient mom, Dr. Nicole D. Vick, because she is getting ready to walk that stage and get her PhD. So Nicole, before commercial break, you mentioned that you were a student at a school where you didn't feel like you belonged because it was USC is a school that, like you said, is predominantly a white institution. What was that like, and how did you push through that with everything else going on in the background of being a mom, fighting custody, child support, all this, that, and the other, and then you're also fighting this same fight like in school? What was that like, and how did you continue to just strive and move forward?
It was hard. It was definitely hard because I already had come in from a place of, do I deserve to be here? Right. Mm-hmm. So to back up a little bit, I lived for most of my life 2 miles away from USC. And so I kind of always saw it as an ivory tower, sort of like this place that was for other people that didn't look like me. And then when I applied as a biomedical engineer major. To this day, I don't even know what a biomedical engineer does. Somebody actually did explain it to me and it made some sense. I'm like, okay, so like the medical, like a artificial heart, or, maybe an insulin pump. That would be something a biomedical engineer would create. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, thank you. Because I didn't even know when I applied to school. I don't know.
Wow.
So, I already was walking in here like, what am I doing here? I don't even know what I'm doing. I changed my major like 3, 4, 5 times. So it was hard. I often would sit in classes and they're talking about stuff. And I had friends that would be like, oh, yeah, this is review from high school. I remember we talked about this in high school. Baby, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what this is. I'm confused. And so there were lots of moments of confusion for me. But there were also glimmers of hope. There were also those lights along the way, people making a way for me. So there was the Black Student Union, and they had like this kind of mentoring program for freshmen, and you could go in there and talk and get your feelings out. So you asked about mental health, and I was going to say I didn't know about no therapy or nothing like that, but there was counseling. I don't know if she was technically like a psychiatrist, but there was at least someone that I could talk to about what I was going through. There was someone there that could say, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to help people. I want to run my own clinic. And she was like, well, you don't have to be a nurse, because after the engineering thing, I said, well, maybe I'll be a nurse. She's like, you don't have to be a nurse. You can do public policy. There's a health concentration. Why don't you think about that? And so those kinds of people were really helpful along the way to help me figure this whole thing out. Because at one point when I was talking to one of my advisors, he was like, why don't you just take a leave of absence? And I was looking at him like, why the hell would I do that? Like, just because I'm pregnant or just because I'm a young mom, like, why would I do that to myself? So on the one hand, there were people that were encouraging. And then on the other hand, there were people that were like, well, why don't you just go away? What? So it was a wild time. I used to take her to school with me in her little stroller. I would tie little bells to her little shoes and put her in the stroller. I'd be like, let's go. We going to campus.
Gotta go.
Yeah, right. And they would love her. If I didn't bring her, they're like, where is she? I'm like, she's home. Yeah.
Did you ever arrive at a point where you walked into school and realized, I do belong here and I'm going to show up as though I belong here? Or do you feel like there was always some type of struggle in feeling like you belong?
I would say undergrad, definitely, and I don't even like the term imposter syndrome, because I don't feel like I have made myself feel like an imposter. I feel like society makes people of color, specifically Black people, specifically Black women, feel like we're imposters. They have imposed that on us. That doesn't come from me. But I will say undergrad, no, I never felt like I belonged there. I never felt confident. I will say probably towards the end of my master's degree. So remember, all 3 of my degrees are from the same school. By the time I got to my grad school, that was about 2003, 2005, felt a little better. Now, this time, this one right here, this last degree, listen. Okay, I tell people all the time, and because people ask about, doctorate programs or school or this or that. That school don't make me. USC don't make me. I make USC what it is, right? It's not the other way around. My lived experience, my perspective, what I know is what's valuable. It's not the other way around. And I think that once you understand that, it makes things a lot different. It's like, listen now, and again, I'm appreciative. I have learned a lot. I have grown. I have, I'm on their alumni council for the public health, stuff over there on campus. But at the same time, it's like, but I bring a lot to this place as well. So I would say this program really brought that out for me.
So, but let's talk about that transition, right? Because like you said, you come from a 2-parent household. Parents are still married to this day, yet there was a part of you that was still looking for validation. You were the bigger girl in high school. At that time, back in the day, there was no body positivity. It was either you're small or you're wrong. There was nothing else in between. So you fought through that. You then have a baby. You're fighting through that. You're learning a lot of who you are during your undergrad. And then when you show up ready for your PhD, you like, baby, Nicole is in the building. So what was that transition like? And what was that wake up moment where you were like, y'all get Nicole?
I think there's a couple of things, and you kind of touched on them. So, first of all, time does a lot. Literally living and experiencing life and going through things and having the benefit of age
Mm-hmm.
definitely helps you get to a certain point in life. That's for one. The second thing is you talked about the body positivity movement. Yeah, you're right. It didn't exist. I was stuck in diet culture for a very long time. I think by the time I got my master's degree, that was 2005 when I graduated. I had done Weight Watchers, Lindora, all these things. I'm trying to fight to make myself look a certain way. And I finally got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I threw the scale away. So that was another thing that happened to me, but that's growth. That's
Right.
understanding that, wait a minute, this isn't working for me. Why am I fighting myself? Like if
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be gentle with anybody in the world, the first person it should be is me, because there's only one me. If I'm not here, then right. So it was just those years of experiencing things, even with the relationships. I had one, not this last one, we ain't gonna clown him like that, but the one before that, that was a little rough, and I was like, woo, can't do this no more. This don't make no sense. And even the last one, what am I really doing? um
Mm-hmm.
and realizing, Nicole, you are super smart. You got the job. You got at the time a master's degree. You doing all these things, and in so many ways, you're very smart, very driven person. But when it comes to you in relation to a man, right?
It's different. Mm-hmm.
You choose differently. And why do
Right.
you do that? Why do you devalue yourself in that realm, but in this realm over here with the academics and the brain stuff, you good. So even with that, there's some interesting things that I have gone through. But again, that lived experience and literally walking it and living through it is where you get that. This is Nicole, and sorry if you don't like it, go on. And really not sorry though, go on over
Right.
there. This is it. This is it. This is it. The girl, the bamboo earrings on that say Dr. Vick, the long nails. This is it.
Oh,
Um,
Dr. Vick, yes.
in some
I love
instances,
it.
I'll say this too. In some instances, it's a direct act of resistance to be able to be yourself. And that comes from my dissertation research, psychological safety, being able to be you without fear of judgment or repercussion is an act of resistance, especially when we talk about Black people. Because
Wow.
we've been forced for so many years. Oh, why is your hair like that? Straighten your hair. Why are you dressed like that? Don't dress like that. Right. And it's like,
Mhm.
no, I have a doctorate degree and I got long nails and I got
Right.
bamboo earrings on.
And my natural hair and whatever else I want to do. Right. I love the fact that you brought this up because I feel like when women specifically hear this, it's going to release a lot of guilt for them. And that is, I'm super smart academically. I'm super smart in my job. But when it comes to the dating scene, that's where I feel like I fall a little bit short. And I appreciate the transparency in that because I feel like a lot of people struggle when they are super smart in one area, they're mature, they're responsible in one area, and then in another area, they're like, they haven't matured and learned as much. I'm not going to say dumb or don't know because, like you said, age and time, that maturity level, it teaches you more. So I appreciate your transparency in that. I'm going to shift gears a little bit because I want to ask you a series of questions
Okay.
as we break into this resilient moment. Okay. So, first of all, my first question is, how do you define resilient and what makes you resilient?
And the funny thing about resilient okay, so I'm gonna answer your question, but then resilient to me is being able to bounce back, right? Whatever life throws at you, you can bounce back. There's a song, oh, what's her name? Rhapsody. She said, y'all threw rocks at me, I threw back asteroids.
Ooh.
Like y'all tried to take me out, but I got something bigger than that. That's resilience.
Mhm.
And resilience, we've talked about some of the things for me that have happened to me that I would consider me like, well, okay, I got pregnant as a teen, but that doesn't mean quit school and go sit down. That means, all right, we're going to figure out how to make this work and we're going to keep going. Put one foot in front of the other and keep moving. Unfortunately, for Black women, we have often had to be resilient even when we don't want to be resilient.
Want
And I
to
think
be.
that's kind of where I have a love-hate relationship with the word resilient. Black women, Black people, but specifically Black women have had to be resilient to the point where people expect that from us. Strong Black woman. And it's like, God dog it, I just want to sit down and not do nothing. Can I do that? No. Well, you're a strong Black woman. I don't want to be that. So I feel like
I'm hashtag unstrong. So I feel you with how you see resilient, because I see strong like that. Like I am just hashtag unstrong. I'm so sick of the word strong because it implies that if you're not strong in the moment, you're weak. And it's not.
right.
And that's why I've leaned more towards the word resilient, because it doesn't have a weak or strong connotation to it. It's just I am, right? But I'm
Yep.
sorry, go ahead and finish your point.
Yeah, no. And I mean, I totally hear you. It's just amazing because Becky, they don't call Becky resilient, and it's like Becky don't have to be resilient. Why? Why we have to always be the one that always have to buck up and push back and fight everywhere. And I think that's the thing that bothers me. Every single interaction with this society that Black women have, we always got to be fighting at work, in our relationships, sometimes depending on who you with, at school, everywhere. It's always
If it's not, you always have to be ready. You always have to be ready. And that, like you said, when do we get to just exhale and for real feel into that exhaling? Yeah.
And so here's me, my public health hat, because what happens is when you are forced to either fight or, to your point, be ready to fight, what does that do to your immune system? What does that do to your blood pressure? What does that do with your blood sugar? How your kidneys is acting if you always is ready like this all the time? That's not healthy. And that's why a lot of us, unfortunately, and look at the stats, stroke out. We 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, gone. Becky and them, they 75, 85, 95 with their great grandkids. We don't get to do that because our whole life is, I got to protect myself. I got to be ready, or I got to go in there like this because you playing with my money at work. I didn't get that promotion or whatever else happened. I always got to be ready for something. And so that's why I think for me, strong and resilient, they just, I don't know.
Okay, so my next question is, what has your daughter taught you about yourself?
Ooh, oh, I love her because she literally is like, okay, mom, the mirror, I'm putting this mirror up to your face because I'm going to tell you about yourself. And she will do it and be like, Mom, come on now. But I guess the whole idea of having her so early taught me that I can do anything. That we can make it. We will be okay. And we have been. She's 27. She just moved out. She's in Arizona now, got her own house, doing her own thing.
Yeah.
But I just really feel like she forced me to grow up. And I had to, right? It's like, well, I can't just be like, oh my God, we got to get this going. But I think she just really has been a valuable mirror. When I'm away, she's like, no, mama, you tripping. Or because she's older now, I can talk to her about certain things. She's like, yeah, that's some BS right there. Nah, nope, that ain't it. And so I really appreciate that about her. And I love her perspective on a lot of things. And I said, dang, I'm sure a lot of parents think like, did I do this right? Is she productive? You think about, did I raise my kids right? And I'm like, I don't know what I did, but I guess I did okay, because she's definitely a good person, right? And her perspective is top notch, I feel like. And so I'm really proud of her.
I love the fact that you use valuable mirror. Like I think that is just, I don't know. It's when you said it, something went through me, and it was just it was a heartfelt way to describe your child, right? A valuable mirror. And I think that was just incredibly beautiful, right? Nicole, who are some Shenomenal women in your life and why?
Wow. I have a lot. I've been so blessed that I have had so many people come in and out of my life in any number of ways. So I'll try to be brief. I won't, name them all, obviously, but I'll start with the ancestors. My great grandmother, when I was in grade school. I remember one day she said to me, "So you're gonna go to college, right?" And I said, "Yeah," because of course you're supposed to say yeah. But you gonna say no? I'm like, "Yeah." And she said, "Good, then you'll be Dr. Vick." And I'm like, "Okay." And so here I am, Dr. Vick. So we got to the Shenomenal ancestors.
Oh, get over you.
Her father was enslaved, so that's how close she is to
Right.
that institution of slavery. And she did so much for herself. Came to Los Angeles cosmetology school, had a beauty salon, blah 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 blah, etc. etc. Of course, my mom, because she kept my baby, and even if we butt heads at times, she didn't have to do that. She could have been like, "Child, figure it out." Sorry, she did that.
Right.
And I have to always give her credit for that. Of course, my daughter, but there have been other people. I have friends that I consider family that have looked out for me. Hey, there's a job. Apply for this job. Oh, you should sign up for this fellowship and do this thing. Yeah, I'll write your letter of recommendation. Okay, sure. I'll sit on your dissertation committee. So there's always been these fabulous women at work, and people I meet in other settings that have been so instrumental. Even the business owners that for the pop-up shop, these Black women that make beautiful products. When I see them, "Hey Nicole, how you doing?" One lady, I saw her recently and I said, "Oh my God, those earrings are cute." And look, she was selling her earrings. She said, "Oh, you can have those." Girl, I'm not going to take these earrings for free. What are you talking about? No, go ahead. I said, "I'm buying 2 pairs because I'm not taking your dang on earring." So it's like those kinds of relationships and community. And I don't know. And I also feel like too, when you show up for people, they will show up for you. So I think you have to always think about that too. Yeah, yes, there are people that have been supportive to me, but I've also, given back. You don't just want to pull from the relationship bank account. You want to always make deposits as well. So I had to make sure.
Exactly. Before I ask my last 2 questions, I want you to take like maybe the next 30 seconds and speak to 2 people, that
Okay.
teenage mom
Oh,
and
boy.
that mother of the teenage mom. Just about 30 seconds. What do you want to tell those 2 women?
Wow. I will tell the teenage mom, "Girl, just keep going. It is not the end of the world." I think a lot of times we feel like, "Oh, I have messed up and this is it's over." It's never over until you decide it's over, right? Until you want to do something else or move forward or do something different. Literally just continue to get up and move forward. Even if you are not sure on where you're going, you don't know if you should go left or right, make a decision and go, because I think ultimately the path you will find the path that you're supposed to be on. So just keep living, keep going, and don't let anybody or anything stop you. So that's for the teen mom. And then so you
Mhm.
said the mother of the teen mom. So like my mama when I
Yes.
was a teen.
Uh-huh. Yes, that one.
Well, definitely I would say, because I feel like a mother of a teen mom would feel like they failed. So forgive yourself. You didn't fail, right?
Mhm.
Um, Always support your child. Always, however you can. Now, maybe you can't be like my mama and be like, "Well, I'll stay home and watch your kid." Because, baby, if my child got pregnant, I can't stay home and do nothing for you. But you figure out how you support, and always support your kids. Be honest with them. I am disappointed. I'm disappointed. This is not what I saw for you. However,
Mhm.
we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna make this work. But I can't want this more than you as far as your success in life and what you want to do moving forward. But I'm here to be the backup, to be the safety net. That's my job. That's my responsibility to you. So let's do it. Let's go.
Beautiful. I love it. Next 30 seconds. I feel like a lot of times women have to hold back our greatness out of other people feeling intimidated. So I like to really encourage women to have a brag fest, right? So for the next 30 seconds, I just want you to brag on Dr. Nicole D. Vick. Why is she so phenomenal?
Wow. Oh boy. I think one of the things I will honestly say is because I honestly feel like, as a Black woman from South Los Angeles, that it is absolutely 100% my responsibility to make sure the next generation is better off than I am. I am not a gatekeeper, and I really believe that my job is to make sure if you want something or need help, whatever it is, I'm supposed to be that person to make that happen for you. So many times, you get into situations and people are like, well, I don't know, figure it out. No. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I'm Shenomenal. It's not even about the degrees, right? It's not about that. It's about sort of how I see the world, how I see community, how I see my neighborhood. Like I see so much beauty and value in what's here when other people think, oh, that's South LA. Oh my God. Like, wait a minute now. It's some smart people here. It's some creative people here. It's some thoughtful people here. And ultimately, everybody is trying to get through from one day to the next. So I don't even know if that fit the criteria of a brag, but it's just really the way that I see everything. I'm like, no, how can I leave this place better than than it was before, right? And what legacy can I leave? And so if I can help you get a job, I'm gonna do that. If I can help you figure out what to wear, because that happens too. Oh my God, Nicole, I need an outfit for a prom, for a wedding. Okay, girl, go on Fashion Nova. I'll help you out. And whatever it is, I'm just want to be helpful to people, and I feel like that's what makes me Shenomenal.
Beautiful. And of course, last, how can people connect with Dr. Nicole D. Vick?
Sure. So I have a website, www.nicoledvick.com. Everything is there, the books. I have a playlist of all the podcasts and things that I've been on. You can figure out how to watch my podcast. Hey. And then I'm on LinkedIn more than anything these days. I used to be on TikTok a lot, but I feel like they're going to take TikTok away. That's what I heard. So I guess it don't matter. But LinkedIn and Instagram, all of my handles are Nicole D. Vick. Everything is the same. You can also Google me. You'll see articles I've written and all kinds of things that I got going on. So that's how you can find me.
Well, I applaud you. Thank you for being my guest. Thank you for being such a phenomenal and resilient woman, because you've continued to push through, just like your book says. You've continued to push through, and I love the fact that you advocate for others to help other Black women. Most importantly, you help other Black women know that they can achieve and they can succeed and they can push through, and that is to be commended, and all hail to the queen, right? But thank you for being a phenomenal woman.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And to everyone else, to all the moms out there, I look forward to having more conversations this month as we chat each week with a resilient mom, celebrating phenomenal moms everywhere. I will see you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching Pyro Media Network. For more information, please visit pyromedianetwork.com.